The status symbols of the past, the rare watches, the visible logos, are now inferior to something far more intimate: the quantified living experience. The issue in Dubai's ultra-luxury sector is not a lack of supply. The real issue is that a lot of it is just expensive marble and standard layouts. A lot of projects compete on price because they lack a true identity. Paying a premium is typically not the complaint. Overpaying for a commodity is the problem. When Dubai hits the same population numbers as London and New York, you won't be asking, can we buy a legacy asset in the city? You'll be asking, why didn't we? The distinction between mere real estate and architectural art as a form of generational wealth management is about to become profoundly clear. To understand where we are going in the future, we have to look at 2 points of inflection: the past and the present. Historically, where you live was significantly limited because we didn't have the technology to show and inform us on what lifestyles may be more suitable for our tastes the way we do now. Nor did we have the ability to travel with such ease that we can choose what lifestyle we wanted. But more importantly, never before as a species have we been able to generate income regardless of location than the way we currently can. Information, physical capability, resource generation have completely dissolved the borders of the world. What this simply means to the super prime market is that gone are the days it was having a prime residence in London or New York or Singapore. It's now and New York and London and Dubai. Borders have dissolved and location is now a choice. But as our freedom grew, our definition of luxury changed. The world is subtly moving on from the era of material status. After 2020 and COVID, we've stopped chasing possessions and started chasing experiences. It's no longer about what you have, it's about how you live. The status symbols of the past, the rare watches, the visible logos, are now inferior to something far more intimate: the quantified living experience. And we find ourselves at a rather unique inflection point, where we have ongoing geopolitical tension in the region and global headlines questioning stability. And in markets like this, selection becomes everything. Before co-founding Atlas Advisory here in Dubai, I spent half a decade in central London as a consultant at Ernst & Young. During that time, I specialized in private client services, advising high net worth individuals on the complexities of generational wealth management, tax structuring, and trust formations across borders. My approach to real estate isn't built on sales narratives. It's data-led and strategy-driven to explain why certain Dubai assets have transitioned from simple investments to essential assets that a family keeps forever. When the market shifts, capital flies to safety, and I believe Six Senses in Dubai Marina offers safety in every category. Allow me to introduce Six Senses Residences Dubai Marina, a masterpiece of visionary design developed by Select Group, and explain why I think this is one of the most important branded ultra-luxury plays in the city right now for personal use, but also for investors looking to store capital and expect generous appreciation. When you strip it back and look at the projects that outperform in super prime global real estate, they tend to share the same core traits: scarce, high quality materials used in the finish, limited future supply in established hubs, unmatched architectural and design, consistent demand for a brand from international ultra-high net worth end users because of consistent quality and strong defensible differentiation. And Six Senses Dubai Marina, in my view, hits all of those out of the park. By the end of this video, you should have a clear view of why this genuinely stands out as an unparalleled legacy asset in the current market. For me, this project really comes down to 3 core drivers. The first is the extreme scarcity of this specific brand mechanic. This isn't just another luxury tower. This is the first ever standalone branded residential development by Six Senses. And the fact that there is no hotel is actually its biggest strength. Think about it. In a hotel integrated project, you are sharing your sanctuary with tourists. In this 122-story landmark, you are part of a ruthlessly exclusive community of just 251 residences. You aren't sharing the 25-meter lap pool or the sunrise yoga decks with hotel guests. You are sharing them with like-minded individuals who value the same privacy and frictionless service as you do. And this fits perfectly with how luxury is changing. We are moving away from just owning things to living experiences. People hear there's a lot of supply coming and assume all luxury supply is equal. But when you narrow it down to a project that actively integrates progressive architectural design with holistic wellness, incorporating biophilia and classical feng shui directly into the floor plans, the number of true competitors drops to 0. The second driver is the sheer scale and legacy of the asset. You are buying into a structure soaring 122 stories above the pulsating heart of one of Dubai's most coveted addresses. It presents itself on the world stage as the tallest residential tower of its time, embodying a shared philosophy between its design and the city of the future. For investors, price growth here doesn't come from a developing neighborhood hoping to mature. It comes from owning a piece of the definitive skyline. The outer facade is designed to seamlessly integrate into the marina while distinctly asserting its character as a truly timeless landmark. Leading on to the third driver, which is the depth of the offering. This isn't a building, it's a vertically integrated sanctuary. We are talking about 61,250 square feet of amenities spread across 4 dedicated levels: connectivity, balance, longevity, and horizon. When you combine the tallest residential structure of its era with the pioneering science and ancient wisdom of the Six Senses brand, globally recognized for its wellness and institutional grade facilities, you start to get an unbreakable investment case that you also get to enjoy for personal use. So let's talk about the location in a bit more detail because context is everything. Six Senses Residences places you at the absolute core of the highly sought after Dubai Marina district. You have unparalleled convenience. You are 5 minutes from Marina Mall, Dubai Harbour and the Emirates Golf Club, and 10 minutes from Blue Waters and Palm Jumeirah. Because of this specific placement plus soaring elevation, the residences command sweeping panoramic views. Depending on the unit, you are capturing the entirety of Palm Jumeirah, Dubai Harbour beachfront, Emirates Golf Course, Blue Waters and the Arabian Gulf. But why is this specific tower the superior choice to its surrounding locations? It's because Six Senses offers something those don't. Ultimate escapism right in the middle of the cosmopolitan energy. Sunlight generously fills the residences through full-height double-glazed windows, creating a seamless indoor-outdoor flow. It is a psychological retreat suspended above a global metropolis, where classic Marina and Palm Jumeirah is dense and filled with traffic. So when we look at this location from an investment perspective, we're not just seeing convenience, we're seeing a highly insulated, one-of-one blue chip asset. Now, the issue in Dubai's ultra-luxury sector is not a lack of supply. The real issue is that a lot of it is just expensive marble and standard layouts. A lot of projects compete on price because they lack a true identity. So does Six Senses sit in a different category? Absolutely. The way we live has been permanently rewritten. We've moved past the era where luxury life was about how many things you could collect. Today it's all about the experience. As mentioned, the old status symbols such as the flashy watches and the big loud logos just don't have the same pull anymore. We are seeing a massive migration towards quiet luxury and wellness. It's the reason why the smart ring market has exploded, with Aura now commanding over 75% of the sector. For the modern ultra high net worth individual, a high recovery score on their Whoop or a perfect sleep score on their Aura has become a more significant social currency than a piece of jewelry. And this is a long-term shift toward a lifestyle where how you feel and how you live is the only true measure of success. When I look at Six Senses Dubai Marina, I don't see a residential tower. I see the physical manifestation of this behavioral shift. The brand has carved out a very clear lane, helping people reconnect with themselves through wellness, sustainability, and out of the ordinary experiences. If you look at the product mix, the supply is ruthlessly exclusive with only 251 residences. They range from 2 to 4 bedroom deluxe residences, half-floor penthouses, all the way up to ultra-luxurious 4 and 5 bedroom duplex and triplex sky mansions. But the true differentiation lies in the curation of the atmosphere. The design is an exercise in understated luxury, harmonizing the natural warmth of wood with the elegant allure of metallic details. Every bedroom integrates sleep with Six Senses standards, and the amenity levels are nothing short of a private members club. Dedicated to longevity, the residence boasts 4 amenity levels. Instead of competing as just another luxury tower, it stands out of one of none as a holistic longevity clinic and lifestyle club that you have the privilege to live in and exclusively enjoy. And lifestyle products like this attracts the highest tier tenants, holds value during market corrections, and completely isolates itself during resale. Now, let's talk about the developer and the brand, because this partnership is what underwrites the safety of your capital. Select Group is the developer here. Founded in 2002, they have a combined gross development value of over 20 billion dirhams. This gives them the liquidity to fund the construction of a 122-story masterpiece themselves, allowing you to keep your capital agile until the very end. They are a powerhouse with a 24-year proven track record, spanning over multiple market corrections and still delivering award-winning residential and hospitality developments. And the final pro factor for Select Group is that they offer a 40-60 payment plan. This 40-60 split is the ultimate skin in the game signal. By leaving 60% of the purchase price on the table until handover, Select Group is effectively betting on their own quality. They're telling you, we are so confident in this 122-story landmark and the Six Senses brand that we don't need the bulk of your money until we hand you the keys. But the real multiplier is the Six Senses brand management. When you buy here, you aren't just getting an apartment, you're getting an exclusive owner ecosystem. You get a dedicated residence general manager and 24/7 concierge. You get a la carte access to private chefs, in-residence spa treatments, and nurse consultations. And a nice small feature on top is that globally, you get 20% off the best available rate at Six Senses properties worldwide. In off-plan, execution risk is your biggest enemy, especially for international ultra-high net worth investors. Partnering a dominant local developer with a global tier 1 hospitality brand removes almost all of that friction. Now, let's talk about the economics, because ultra luxury trades on a different curve than the rest of the market. I won't throw generic price per square foot numbers at you today, because trying to value a triplex sky mansion with private access to a longevity clinic using standard marina benchmarks is illogical and ultimately a flawed strategy. Instead, we will look at buildings that reflect similar levels of brand prestige, landmark status, and developer pedigree. And to note, all data has been collated from Property Monitor. For those of you that don't know what Property Monitor is, it is the region's leading real estate intelligence platform, directly linked to the Dubai Land Department, and the only data source powered by RICS accredited professionals, bringing unprecedented transparency and accuracy to stakeholders like ourselves. The 3 comparable buildings I've chosen are Jumeirah Living Marina Gate, 2 Six Senses Residences The Palm, and 3 Atlantis The Royal residences. Jumeirah Living Marina Gate makes sense because it was developed by Select Group and represents a high-end, branded hospitality residential building within the Dubai Marina corridor. What we will analyze is the rental delta between Jumeirah Living and its non-branded sisters, Marina Gate 1 and Marina Gate 2. This provides a localized brand premium baseline for how much more tenants are willing to pay for hotel standard management and concierge services in the marina, although it is important to keep in mind how much greater the brand Six Senses is in comparison to Jumeirah Living. Jumeirah Living over the last 3 months has had an average rent per square foot of 210 dirhams. And then for its non-branded neighbours, Marina Gate 1 and Marina Gate 2, in the same time frame, they had an average rent per square foot of 158 dirhams. That equates to a 24.76% delta between a branded Select Group in Marina and its sister towers in the exact same location. The important point to note in this case study is that Jumeirah Living is a localized brand. Six Senses is on the global stage, is an internationally renowned brand based on value-add services, not just goodwill. Therefore, it is fair to expect that the demand push inflation that will arise for the rush of demand to live in Six Senses building will be greater than the poor Jumeirah Living brand has shown. Moving on, Six Senses Residences The Palm. It makes sense to analyze this building because it was the first partnership between Select Group and Six Senses in the region. What we will analyze is the capital appreciation case of units at the Palm project from its launch in 2022 to the present. This serves as the most accurate predictor for how the Six Senses brand name will protect capital and appreciate within Dubai. One apartment was purchased for 14.42 million dirhams in September 2022 and sold for 19.1 million dirhams in November 2025. This is a gain of approximately 32.5% in 3 years. A separate property was purchased for 16.3 million dirhams in May 2022 and sold for 20.5 million dirhams in January 2026. This is a gain of approximately 25.77% in 3.5 years. And a third separate property was purchased for 11.33 million dirhams in June 2022 and sold for 15.65 million dirhams in January 2026. This is a gain of approximately 38.13% in 3.5 years. You know the age-old saying, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. feel that I don't need to add much more than that. The only other important point to note is that all of these transactions occurred whilst the building hadn't handed over yet. What this means in simple English is that all of these transactions could only have been made by cash buyers because the banks won't give a mortgage to a property under construction. It is not possible to send the valuer to evaluate a building or property that isn't completed. Therefore, the pool of buyers that can actually transact is smaller because they are all cash buyers. We consistently see that once the building's fully handed over, there is an immediate jump in prices as finance buyers can now enter the market, and we still have that inflation jump to come for Six Senses The Palm. And finally, Atlantis The Royal residences. It makes sense to analyze this building because it also shares the same scale of specialized amenities, wellness treatments, longevity clinics, and elite social spaces. I won't deep dive into the analysis here because of course the Palm is a different location and with that has its very own market. But here we review the price per square foot in transactions and rental data to show an example of the appetite for turnkey lifestyle management among the international ultra high net worth demographic. For rentals in Atlantis, we are seeing an unbiased average rent of 592 dirhams per square foot and a peak rent per square foot of 1,302 dirhams, with a 4-bed renting for 4.8 million dirhams per annum in February 2026 and a second 4-bed renting for 3.75 million dirhams per annum in December 2025. For transactions, we are consistently seeing 2 beds, 3 beds, and 5 beds transact over 10,000 dirhams per square foot in 2026. From the original prices in 2021, it is common to see homes in Royal Atlantis appreciate by 150%, 200%, and more. There are apartments still available in Six Senses Residences Marina that are at a price per square foot of around 3,000 dirhams, just to highlight the ceiling gap between where we are currently and where we can go. And that concludes the data behind the core investment case for why you should consider investing in Six Senses Residences Marina as a home to live, but also an asset to never sell. I'm not going to sit here and say that Six Senses Marina will return you 1,000% on your investment in 2 years, but I guarantee you it is the best branded residence vehicle currently on the market that will bear the biggest gains quickest, especially because of a soon handover. And just to reiterate where the upside is most likely to come from, it's based on a combination of value drivers working together. The first is the flight to safety and quality. When regional dynamics shift, sophisticated real estate investors look for assets that are irreplaceable. 122-story standalone Six Senses Tower is an irreplaceable asset. The second driver is the wellness premium. Post-2020, environmental psychology and spatial wellness are no longer buzzwords. They are demands of high net worth buyers. This building was engineered to boost well-being through pioneering science and ancient wisdom. Features like cryotherapy and hyperbaric chambers intertwined with elements inspired by classical feng shui inside your residential building puts this building in a category of one. The third driver is the branded scarcity. There is only one first ever standalone Six Senses residence. No hotel means only residences can access the amenities, and what is luxury boiled down to its purest form, if not scarcity. So the upside here is based on defensible luxury, the wellness mentality shift, and brand scarcity. And even though I see Six Senses Marina primarily as a legacy and capital appreciation play, it functions as a highly aggressive rental asset for a very specific demographic. These are tenants who want the prestige of the Six Senses brand, the cosmopolitan lifestyle of the marina, and the convenience of a la carte services like limousine transfers, private fitness trainers, and grocery provisions delivered directly to their door. These tenants are not price sensitive, they are experience sensitive. They will pay a heavy premium to live in a building that actively enhances their longevity and balances their high stress professional lives. My network in London consistently say that ultra high net worth individuals emigrating to London are more and more choosing to rent in the city to not only avoid on the heavy taxes that arise on acquisition in the UK, but also maintain their agility in case they want to move next year for XYZ reasons. Now, ignoring the current geopolitical and macroeconomic backdrop would be naive. What we're seeing right now is a recalibration in buyer psychology. In the short term, you could see a more cautious, selective environment, but for institutional grade branded off-plan asset like this, the more important question is this the type of asset you'd want to hold in your portfolio when the market cycle turns? For me, the answer is unequivocally yes. Periods of market hesitation actually favor the prepared investor. It allows for better unit selection, perhaps securing one of those rare half-floor penthouses and providing the breathing room to structure the right terms, with the risk being further offset by the fact the project is due to hand over in 2 years from today. We have a whole 24 months till the project is due to be handed over in a city with a never-changing leadership, renowned for executing on their vision to make Dubai a global powerhouse. A city renowned for its resilience and also a region that has enough funds and then some to implement all the necessary changes that are required from this conflict. Before I give my final words, I want to address the main concern, which is it feels expensive compared to other marina launches. And to be fair, it is a premium product, but the mistake is benchmarking it against the wrong stock. Historically, standalone branded residences command a significant premium over non-branded luxury in the same corridor. Why? Because of the operational excellence and the absolute peace of mind that the standard of living is going to be synonymous with the brand you are buying into. If you compare Six Senses to a generic high-density marina tower, then yeah, it looks expensive. But you aren't buying generic square footage. You are buying into a tower equipped with a longevity clinic, crystal sound healing, and a dedicated residence general manager. You are buying a living experience that integrates that classical feng shui into its core. Paying a premium is typically not the complaint. Overpaying for a commodity is the problem. Six Senses is an absolute anomaly, not a commodity. So when I step back and look at this project properly, this is where I land. I think Six Senses Residences Dubai Marina is a legacy asset which is available in the city right now. Because when you weigh everything up, the fundamentals are bulletproof. And this is why timing matters. Inventory in a project of this caliber, specifically the prime units with the unobstructed palm and harbour views, gets absorbed by smart money quietly and quickly, with all of the 2-bedroom apartments currently sold out. This isn't about chasing a quick flip. It's about securing the right legacy asset in the right part of the market at the right point in its cycle. And currently, Dubai has a population of around 4 million people. London City and New York have around 9 million people each. When Dubai hits the same population numbers as London and New York, you won't be asking, can we buy a legacy asset in the city? You'll be asking, why didn't we? So if you're an investor or end user who recognizes the value of the Six Senses ecosystem and you want a deeper private breakdown on this marina project, including unit layouts, availability on the Sky Mansions or deluxe residences, and finding the best payment plan mechanics, feel free to reach out directly to me and I'll be able to advise specifically on these types of prime legacy assets and can guide you on where the real value sits right now within the ultra luxury sector. And as always, we'll continue tracking the macro sentiment and how it dictates Dubai's real estate landscape. If you found value in this analysis, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.